More than 1 million 1-inch Ordnance Survey maps are sold in Britain every year. Maps covering moorland and mountain, city and town, main roads and footpaths from John O'Groats to Land's End. Maps so detailed that even the most carefree ramblers will have a job to get lost. Today, there are all kinds of maps for all kinds of purposes. Maps ordinary, maps extraordinary. Even maps specially designed for those who cannot see, with contours in heavy relief and place names embossed in braille. We look at maps at every age, and maps have become bestsellers. At stationery offices all over Britain, for instance, they sell the many kinds of maps produced by the Ordnance Survey, a revenue-earning department which now functions under the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food. The story of today's maps really begins here at the Chessington, Surrey headquarters of the Ordnance Survey, which was first established in the reign of George III by the 3rd Duke of Richmond. 300 years ago, regional maps of Britain were made by cartographers such as Speed and Saxton. This map was made 100 years later by Sir William Roy, the father of serious map-making. His efforts led to the first national survey of Britain. It was made mainly for military purposes and was completed by officers of the Royal Artillery and Royal Engineers in 1895 under the Board of Ordnance. The making of a map actually starts here. These surveyors, at what is called a triangulation station, are measuring the angle between two distant points. There are more than 6,500 triangulation stations throughout Britain, a framework on which the whole basis of map making is founded. The stations are established by measuring optically the angles between 3 or more points, and these permanent marks are used in all subsequent map making. If there isn't a convenient hill available, the surveyors have to erect a steel tower from which to do their measuring. To assist them in making maps and to help civil engineers and builders, the Ordnance Survey established marks to show heights of various places above sea level. These marks, in the form of arrows, can be seen on milestones up and down the country, as well as on various buildings. Here, surveyors are taking measurements to establish a new benchmark, as the arrowheads are called. Once a complete survey is finished, the Ordnance Survey immediately starts revising it, so it is constantly kept up to date. Nearly 2,000 surveyors employed by the department are engaged in outdoor survey, whatever the conditions, whatever the weather. Here, in the beautiful but often wet, windy and cold Scottish Highlands, from about the end of March to the end of October each year, teams of surveyors work with their surveying instruments. And when it's necessary to cross the water, they've got their own boat with them. In areas like this and in the moorlands, 3,800 finely detailed maps are being prepared at a scale of 6 inches to the mile. And from these basic maps, all the information for smaller scale maps will be taken. Cities and towns are basically mapped at 50 inches to the mile. There are 45,000 exact plans made at this scale. Often, surveyors need to enter privately owned land in their work, but whenever possible, they survey without doing so. In rural areas, the scale is 25 inches to the mile, and there are no fewer than 180,000 plans at this scale. All the detailed work is done on the ground with conventional surveying instruments. But today, much of the countryside is partly mapped by aerial photographs, and later, the two surveys are combined. Aerial map making greatly depends on good weather conditions, and sometimes the photographer gets only a relatively few flying hours each year. The camera takes photographs 9 inches square at regular intervals of a few seconds, so that each picture overlaps the previous one. This produces a relief effect when they're viewed in the plotting instruments at Chessington. Flying at about 5,000 feet, the camera sees the world spread out like a colorful map. But there's still a lot of work to be done between those first aerial photographs and the final map. Back at the Chessington headquarters, surveyors carefully overlap the air photographs. These photographs are then placed in the plotting machines, which enable the air surveyors to trace the details onto transparent sheets, which ground surveyors will later complete during their field surveys. This plotter is tracing a 6 inches to the mile scale map, but these intricate machines can be adjusted to most scales. With the aid of the plotting machines, which make many of the necessary adjustments automatically, the surveyors can trace the map's details much quicker than it can be done by hand. Archaeological maps are also produced by the Ordnance Survey, like this one of Roman Britain, already a bestseller, which is regularly being revised as new archaeological discoveries are made. The drawing and printing of the maps is done at Southampton, where nearly 2,000 draftsmen and women, photographers and printers produce maps of all kinds from the information collected by the surveyors. The draftsmen copy the details given on the surveyor's drawings, either by drawing the outline of the maps onto enameled plates or by cutting it onto waxed glass. The drawings are photographed, and from the negative, a lithographic printing plate is made. A similar plate can be made direct from the waxed glass sheets. The maps are printed in these machines, which print 2 or 3 colors at a time at a rate of 4,000 to 5,000 sheets an hour. At Chessington, a specially designed machine folds the maps, which are then ready to be attached to their covers. Maps of all kinds, from the 1 inch to the mile hiker special to the historical maps of monastic and ancient Britain, from the geology map to the rainfall map, from the basic 50-inch map to the motorist's 1/4 inch series. Ordnance Survey maps are the basis of almost all the maps now used in Britain, and the department's 4,500 members keep constant watch for even the smallest change in the landscape. So today, there's really no excuse for anyone, rambler or motorist, not being on the right road.